If you're here, you may be interested in working with crystals, but have heard people talk about how crystals can be considered a form of idolatry and a sin. Whether you had a religious upbringing or you're on a unique spiritual path and just looking for some backstory on where these claims come from, this is for you. First off, if we're going to get into this, it's important to understand the definition of idolatry so we can see how it relates to crystals. There are actually two types of definitions for idolatry. There's the classic dictionary definition that you can find in the good old Merriam-Webster, and there's also a more modern day definition that is often referenced. The classic definition of idolatry, as found in Merriam-Webster, is the worship of a physical object as a god, plain and simple. Now, the modern day definition gets a little more complicated, but we're going to break it down. This idea, as we know it, stems from Tim Keller, who was an American Presbyterian pastor, Reformed theologian, and author. In 2009, he released his book called Counterfeit Gods, and this book came about because of the influence and interpretation from work by three Protestant reformers and theologians: Augustine, Martin Luther, and John Calvin. It's worth keeping in mind right off the bat that this modern idolatry framework stems from this Protestant Christianity group, which exists because a group of men decided that they disagreed with how the established church had been interpreting things. So, even within Christianity itself, interpretation of the Bible is something that has been contested for quite some time. Now, whether the Bible is the authoritative word of the Creator or speaks for everyone is a whole separate discussion, but I just want to be clear about where these concerns originate from. So, in one of Tim's sermons that can be found on thegospelcoalition.org, he stated, and I'm going to read this as he said it because I don't want to paraphrase anything incorrectly. He stated, "An idol can be anything. An idol can be family and children. It can be career or making money. It can be achievement or critical acclaim." He goes on to name quite a few other things, and if you want to read the entire list, I'll go ahead and I'll leave the link down below directly to that sermon. But then he goes on to state, all of those things can be idols. Here's why. When you lose one of those things and it's just a good thing to you, then you're sad. But if you lose one of those things and it's become an ultimate thing, it's not just a good thing, but an ultimate thing, then you want to throw yourself off a bridge. That's how you can know whether that's an idol in your life, because you can't live without it. Now, there are a lot of problems with this broad type of definition. Aside from the fact that it's just one man's interpretation, it's extremely subjective and nuanced. Let's just start with the fact that according to him, children can be an idol. As a mom, my son is now 2. If anything were to happen to my son, I would definitely be more than just a little sad. I think any parent who loves their child or children would be beyond devastated if something happened to their child or children. So, how sad are you allowed to be as a parent before it's considered idolatry? Let's use making money as another example. What about a single parent living in New York City who has to work 2 jobs and has no family support or other caregiver to help and lives paycheck to paycheck? Losing even one of those jobs could be the difference between being homeless or not. Would the devastation that would most likely result from losing one or both of those jobs be considered idolatry? The reason I bring up these examples is to demonstrate the issue with these modern blanket definitions of idolatry, and to emphasize that it's not that cut and dry either when it comes to applying that to crystals. Getting back to the classic definition of worshiping a physical object as a god, I can assure you that it is not a thing in the crystal community to teach people to bow down to their amethyst. Handle it with love, care, and respect, yes, but not worship it. When it comes to the modern day definition as it relates to crystals, I invite you to reflect on something. How often do you encounter or hear about people who are so consumed by their crystal work that without it, they would feel compelled to throw themselves off a bridge, as Tim Keller would say? I admit I'd be pretty damn pissed if I lost one of my favorite crystals, but I wouldn't say my reaction would be one of extreme desperation. And only you can know whether you would have a similar reaction or not. One thing to remember is that you are always in control of your actions, emotions, and your practice. Crystals are meant to be companions for spiritual work, not crutches. The same way that prayer, hymns, and rosaries are used as tools to connect and communicate with the Creator in various faith traditions. So, are crystals a form of idolatry and a sin? Well, instead of me telling you yes or no or letting one man's opinion determine that answer, I invite you to just take the information that was presented and the context and come to your own conclusion on that. Now, if your conclusion is that you feel comfortable and you're really interested in finding out how to get started with crystals, but you're not sure how, I actually have a free resource for you. I think it's important whenever you get involved with any practice to know the history, the goals, and the foundation from which it stems. So, because of that, I created the Crystal Witch Mama Guide to starting your own path with crystals. You can grab your copy of the guide by clicking the link down below in the description box. And if you're interested in more discussions like this, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time.